Today, one of my sons asked me a question. Basically, why do investors like myself look at buying a stock when they say they buying a stock, they say they buying that stock forever, and if it appreciates and so it goes up and you make all this money, why would you just keep it there? And also, what's the purpose of that? And if the stock is going to fall? That's actually a really outstanding question, and it's the fundamental reason for investing. I like to look at a stock as if you're opening a franchise, you're opening a McDonald's, you're opening a corner store, or you're opening something like that. But with opening that store or that franchise, and you're looking at yourself as a passive investor, if you have some type of company or store that you're working and you don't actually work in the store, it's called passive investing, and that's kind of what you're doing with the stock. So when you set up a store or a franchise, you don't look at the stock price every day because there isn't a stock price. You're not looking to sell tomorrow. You're not looking to sell next year. You're opening up this store as a long-term investment, and I believe that's exactly how you should look at a stock. And I actually believe if you look at it like that, you're gonna be a much more successful investor. I mean, and the two most important things the two most important items that you're looking for when you're investing in a company is what's the longevity and how well is the business and what's the longevity. If you can look out 50 years from now, is that business still going to be in business? Let's take a railroad operation. I gotta believe 50 years from now, we're still going to have railroads. Railroads is the most fuel efficient and cheapest way to move the largest amount of goods. And I don't see nothing coming along that's going to be able to replace that. So I believe 50 years from now, you're still going to have railroads. So the second most important thing as far as a long-term investment is the price that you pay. So if so happens, let's say the stock market falls significantly, and railroads is something that you identify, that you like, you think the long-term investment, and so now that the stock market falls, and let's say some of the railroads fall down with it. So now that you got it now it's an attractive price, you buy it, it's a long-term investment. I believe that America, even if we go through some type of recession or something, is going to come back. Railroads is going to be a part of moving goods. So now that we made a really good investment at a really good price, and now all we got to do is monitor that investment, make sure nothing has really changed, make sure management isn't going off doing stupid things, make sure they're doing the proper things with their capital, and also to make sure that it's a long-term outstanding investment. So now that we're monitoring it, and we made the investment in it, we're monitoring it, and you should still look at that investment as the same way as an investment as if you're opening some type of company or business on your own. You don't need the stock market can close for 4 years, and you can still be satisfied with your investment as long as you're monitoring the company and like I said, that they're doing the right things and that they're growing. So now that you've done that, and so then the second thing you got to look at is a such thing as called retained earnings. When a company earns, let's say they earn $1 billion a year, that railroad earns $1 billion a year. There's two things that's going to happen. They're going to have a railroad, they're going to have a dividend, and that's going to be capital that comes to you. Companies actually return capital in two ways that's favorable to you as a business owner. One is buying out some of your other partners in that business, and that's them buying back shares, and then also giving you dividends. So then anything that they keep outside of buying back stock and paying dividends is called retained earnings. So they retain those earnings, and you hope that they reinvest those earnings to actually grow the business. Whether it's, you don't want them to go off and start some whole other new business, but maybe they have the opportunity to grow the railroads into different sections. So so the main reason why you keep it long term, because as the business is doing well, the stock will at some point it will appreciate and go along with how well the business is doing. The same way if the business is doing bad, the stock will go down. So let's say you make an investment of $10,000 and you hold that investment for 10 years. Now let's say in 10 years that investment is worth $100,000 now. There's a couple things that you can do other than just selling that investment. You may not want to sell. One of the most important things is for tax purposes. So if you made $90,000 off of your $10,000 investment and you sell the whole thing, you're going to have to pay a large portion of that to taxes. Let's say you have to pay $20,000. And so you may not want to do that. I will recommend the only time that you do that is, let's say you come across another good idea. Good ideas and investments, real good ideas and investments, don't come along very often. And so if that investment is performing well, you go ahead and you go with that. And then another reason why you want to maintain and hold it, you're building up your net worth. And as you build up your net worth, when you go to a banker, let's say to own a McDonald's, if I had to guess, you have to have $1.5 billion in assets and probably $500,000 in cash. So you're doing everything else. That's building up your net worth, and your stocks count as net worth. So that's a really good reason not to sell. And like I said, the other really good reason not to sell is that for tax purposes. So to answer your question, the main two reasons, the most important reason and when you make an investment as a long-term investment, or as you're saying you're a lifetime holder of the shares, is the reason why you go into it. So if you go into a stock and you're buying anything other than you believe in the business, you got a good price, and you believe that the business is going to go into the future, and they got a moat around it, around their business, and they got a really good competitive advantage in the marketplace. So you believe that business is going to grow, and eventually the stock price is going to go with that investment.